Hello, Angeline. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Elijah, and thank you so much for having me on your podcast show. I am honored and blessed to be here this morning.
Beautiful, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Angeline, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, Angeline, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest that in yourself. And oftentimes, Angeline, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. They say some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Angeline, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Angeline, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, Angeline. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day, and I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that,
There you go.
yeah, the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Angeline that you are today, that alone has
Thank
made
you.
it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing. Your philosophies, your insights, your journey, your work, the impact your work is having, and now you are offering your solutions, Angeline. This stuff's so beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Angeline is doing.
Mm,
And not only me now, because I don't want to look selfish, and even with the audience. And here we are today with the
right.
amazing Angeline. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, Angeline.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And like I said,
Beautiful.
it's an honor to be here.
Ah,
Honor to be here.
thank you, thank you. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Angeline, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Angeline, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge alone, but the application of it. And you see, Angeline, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the incredible Angeline on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So those folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, Angeline, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So, for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. Want to know how Angeline got here. Then, afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Angeline, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Thank you, Elijah. And yes, my background. I want to share my story. So once upon a time, I used to be married to whom I thought was going to be the love of my life. He worked in advertising. He had his own business. And my journey, like in the beginning, when I got married, he did not show, in other words, like I thought we were going to, we were like called the Hollywood couple in New York City. So um, I did the sales for him. And when we met, he was very charming and very smart and this and that. But later on, he actually took off the mask. So gradually over time, he took off the mask and he became verbally abusive, physically abusive, um, to the point where in 2008, I drew a line in the sand and I surrendered and I said that I was going to file for divorce because I found that there was financial abuse. And the last couple of years before I actually filed for divorce, I was working on myself and pouring into me. Um, so in 2010, I filed for divorce in May, and then a year later, the divorce became final, and I moved out of New York City and moved to um, upstate New York, Saratoga Springs, New York, and that's where the passion and vision began. Um, a few years later to start my podcast. So Let's Break the Silence with Angeline is a movement for women who desire to share their real life stories of overcoming domestic violence. So overcoming domestic violence, sharing the real raw story and how they were able to reclaim their power and step into purpose. And that's exactly what I did. I shared my story in March of 2018 live on Facebook with my phone in my hand. And at that time, like we didn't really have these streaming softwares. But when I shared my story, I was literally shaking. And then I went out and I shared, my story. 18 minutes, it went viral. Went to 7 million viewers. Yeah.
Wow.
Which created a lot of impact. And, for me, I was afraid to go Facebook Live. I had to practice what I preach is to be the voice for change. So, um, for women who have gone through domestic violence or are going through a divorce right now, they're afraid to be vocal in the beginning because they are afraid of what other people will think, including their own family members. So I poured into myself and I invested in myself. When you talked about investing in myself, I've invested over $100,000 just in myself to be where I am today. And I've co-authored 3 anthologies, one of which just came out. This is called The Awaken, Embrace the Call to Rise and Lead. And this is a movement by my mentor. And I also was a platinum sponsor and a speaker. So I share my story of how I turned my pain into a purpose-driven business. And it takes work. It's a lot of, for me, it's a lot of inner work, and investing in myself, but coaching and mentoring and to be where I am right now. So this brand is dedicated to helping women break free from the past, reclaim their confidence, and step boldly into their divine God-given purpose. So it's a movement, and I'm proud of myself because I've created a space for women. For example, tomorrow I am going live in a Facebook group that I've actually been in for a while. Listen to this. It's a domestic violence awareness group, and there's over 10,000 members there. And I initiated a conversation. I said I would love to have a virtual coffee chat. The the post went viral. The post went viral, and there's a lot of women who want to talk to me, and there's a lot of women who want to get to know me, and they want to know my story because your story has impact. Your story and your voice will impact the world. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Very,
And
very true.
yeah, so yeah, it's true. They want to hear my story, and I want to be of service to them. So it's very exciting. You know what I mean? Like it's very exciting for me because more awareness needs to be spread about domestic violence, and because like some of the women have already overcome domestic violence. This is like a support group, but what I offer, which is different from the other groups, is I offer the empowerment and healing part, meaning that they can enroll in my coaching programs. I'm having an event next week on December 16th, so I'm going to invite them all to my event next week. It's going to be on Zoom, and I'm pretty excited about it. So it's an awakening, you know?
I tell you. No, no, no. This is
Yeah.
so beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. The fact that you went through all of that and you came out of it, and now you're using your story to impact others. You know, Angeline, not many people can sum up the courage to step out and talk about the things that they are going through or they've experienced. And now look at the amazing things that you're doing. So you used a
Thank you.
particular word, yeah, that I'm quite curious about. You said reclaiming your power. What does reclaiming your power mean to you personally?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked me that question. Reclaiming your power means that you are basically taking your life back. So you're taking ownership and you're taking your power back, meaning you're taking your life back because we are in control of our own destiny and we are destined for greatness and we are created in God's image. And the God created the universe and the universe rewards action. So that's what reclaiming your power means to me. Just standing up for yourself, not being worried about what other people think, not people pleasing anymore. I was the biggest people pleaser for a long time. And so I overcame the people pleasing because that's huge. Like we'll say yes to things that we're not even conscious of. And that was me. So I've learned to say no and I've learned to set healthy boundaries. And during my marriage, especially towards the end of my marriage, I was able to stand up for myself because of the way he was treating me. So I stood up for myself and I stood my ground and I stood in my truth and I claimed freedom in 1 year and it happened. But not only that, I stepped into my purpose. I stepped into my purpose because of the passion that I have to help women. So that's what, for me, reclaiming your power means.
Beautiful, and I got that. And I love the fact that you keep using one of my favorite words, purpose. That's a beautiful one. So, what about this one? Yeah, how can someone recognize that they are in a toxic cycle?
Okay, in the beginning, you may not realize that you're in a toxic cycle, but some things to be aware of that I was aware of later on was that they constantly put you down. They put you down in front of other people. They're always negative. Gaslighting, meaning, they ignore you. And I was gaslighted for a long time. I was gaslighted for a long time, ignoring the spouse's needs and, being verbally abusive, financially abusive. preventing them from seeing their own family, preventing them from, going out and seeing their friends, or even just going out on a coffee thing, you know? So they want control. So it's control, it's manipulation. So those are signs of a toxic relationship. And if you're in a toxic relationship right now, I would highly recommend that you recognize these signs and then get out, make a plan and leave. Make a
Make a
plan and leave.
plan and
So it's
leave.
the toxic cycle is like very, very negative. They're always putting you down. They're putting other people down, or they'll go out in public and they'll show that they're the good person and make you look bad. You know, so it's that constant put down, and it shatters your self esteem. I mean, I know for me, I had to work on building up my self esteem and self confidence back because when when you find yourself in that downward spiral, all of that is gone, and you have to really work to build that back up again. So
Got that. I got that. So we have two more to go. So how did you rebuild your confidence after so much pain?
that's a good question. Okay, I took personal development courses. I invested in mentorship, and I rediscovered myself. So there's a lot of self awareness in the beginning. I did a lot of journaling. So I have a journal here, and I journal things that I'm grateful for every single day. And I journal my thoughts and feelings. And so this is a journal that I have, but I have like a lot of journals. I um, I invested in mentorship, and I invested in coaching, and I rediscovered who I truly am. It's a rediscovery. It's becoming self-aware. So the more that you do this, the more that you journal, and the more that you journal at least three things that you are grateful for, which I teach in my course. You focus on, like journaling, meditation, more abundance starts to flow in your life, because it's very important to stay in that state of gratitude, because when you are in that state of gratitude, then abundance starts to flow in your life. Abundance is our birthright, and we deserve to live the life that we truly, truly deserve. So I did it by journaling, meditation, mentoring. I listened to some podcasts, and then that's what ignited the passion in me to start my podcast 6 years ago. So let's break the silence. So I listened to podcasts, and I rediscovered who I truly am, and I rediscovered that I wanted to make an impact, create that impact for women worldwide. So, yep, that's exactly what I did. Did some
Mm,
inner work, shadow work, peeling back the layers, getting to the root of what was holding me back. And then I was able to shed those limiting beliefs.
you're able to shut those limiting beliefs. I got that. And that's a beautiful
Yeah,
one. And thank you for all that you're doing. It's amazing. So finally,
you're welcome.
Angeline, yeah, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those individuals who would like to reach out to you, learn more about the
Sure.
wonderful stuff you're doing, make a purchase of your books, or join your programs, how can that be possible?
Yes. First of all, you are worthy. You are beautiful, and you are destined for greatness. So, my message to you today is love yourself, speak positivity into your life, focus on gratitude, and amazing things will happen in your life. And people, for the viewers and the listeners who are listening, will be listening to this amazing podcast. People can reach out to me on my website, letsbreakthesilence.com. And I will be more than happy to schedule a virtual coffee chat with you. So to
Beautiful.
get to know exactly where you are and how I can best support you.
That's a beautiful one. Thank you. So that's going to be the end of
You're
the
welcome.
show, Angeline. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this wonderful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Elijah. Thank you so much.